Hey guys, it's Mr. Kozlowski here. On today's video, we're going to be looking at how we make solder joints, how we prepare the pipe, proper safety steps that are required prior to soldering, the tools that will be required while you are soldering, and how to successfully complete this little test rig. So some safety associated with soldering. You want to make sure that you're dressed in a proper attire, which would mean closed-toed shoes, wearing appropriate PPE for yourself, so making sure that I have ANSI Z871 safety glasses over my eyes while I'm soldering. And then you want to make sure that you're wearing some nice heat-resistant gloves to make sure that you keep your hands covered and protected as you will be working with an open flame. You also want to make sure the environment that you're working in is clear of flammable objects and debris, so making sure that I'm not soldering close to any flammables. Obviously, this will differ in the field if you are making close soldering joints in a joist cavity or joist bay or something along those lines. But for our demonstration, while we're bench soldering here, we want to make sure that we do have all of our flammables cleared. Want to also make sure you have a fire extinguisher readily available, that you know how to use this fire extinguisher, and it is up to date, charged, and within reach at all times. So some of the tools that you're going to need for your soldering application. First of all, you're going to need solder. There's a variety of different solders out there. Make sure you are grabbing an appropriate plumbing solder. If it is plumbing solder, it should have the NSF logo on it. It should be lead-free solder. The other thing you're going to need is a nice flux. We are using a number 5 lead-free flux. This will allow the solder to flow into the joint through capillary traction, and we'll cover that as we get closer to the actual soldering process. You're going to need a torch of some sort. So we have an industrial turbo torch here. Many of you may not run into this. This is what a lot of plumbers will actually use. If you are working in the field, you may have a smaller torch, but this is a industrial plumber's torch that we'll be using. You're going to need something to clean the copper with. So this is a tool that allows us to clean the fittings, the inside of the copper fittings, as well as the outside of the copper pipe. You can also use an abrasive sandpaper if you wish, but this allows us to do 1/2 inch, 3/4, both pipe and the fittings. You're going to need a tubing cutter of some sort to actually cut the copper tubing. This tubing cutter is a large tubing cutter. They make a variety of different sizes, but this is a fairly decent tubing cutter. If your torch does not have an auto strike function, you're going to need a striker of some sort to strike the torch itself. And then obviously you're going to need the fitting, the copper fitting itself, as well as the tubing that you plan to solder. Don't forget to have a wet rag available so that when we can actually finish the copper joint, we can use the wet rag to clean the joint, solidify the joint, and you'll make sure you need your wet rag. First thing we're going to do is cut our pipe to length, the length that we need. That's going to depend upon what application you're fitting and which little section you're working on. In our case, I'm going to just measure this at a 12-inch section and make a little mark just so I know where I'm actually working. Now, some people would prefer to use the sandpaper and get both sides of this prepped ahead of time, which is smart prior to cutting. Because I'm just using one side of the pipe, I'm going to make the cut and then prep that pipe. So I have the advantage to be working on a tri-stand, so I'm going to get this pipe secured by fastening it to the tri-stand so it's nice and secured. We're then going to use our tubing cutter and bring this directly on our line and tighten this up until there's a little bit of pressure on there. At that point, we can start to slowly rotate this and make sure that my scoring mark is directly on my line where I need it to be cut. And I'll continue to rotate this while giving a little 1/8 turn as I do so, and you'll see that score get deeper and deeper until eventually it cuts the pipe in its entirety. Don't have to rush this process. We're not trying to really dent the whole pipe. We're just trying to let that wheel do its scoring action. You'll see I'm going back and forth in both directions until that cut is made. At that point, we're ready to start prepping this. Part of the prepping would be deburring this. If you have a deburr, we can deburr the inside of that copper. And then further, we're going to continue to prep this by removing the oxidation from this copper. So how we're going to remove that, once again, if you had your sandpaper, we could sand the oxidation off, or if you have one of these nice little tubing preppers, we can apply this in the correct 1/2 inch hole, twist the pipe or the tubing prep tool until we clean all of that oxidation off. The other thing this is doing is providing little micro scores in the pipe to allow that solder to bite and actually grab the fitting. So with that said, even if you obtain a nice new clean fitting like we have here, it doesn't have much oxidation on it, but we do want to go inside of this and score the inside of that to make sure that we're getting nice attraction or nice bond between the solder and the copper. Make sure you're prepping beyond where this fitting is actually going to fall, right? So we want to make sure that we're prepped beyond that. This is a nice fit up. We've deburred the inside. This is all prepped. At this point, we can start moving to the soldering action itself. At this point, we're going to be turning our gas on. As I mentioned prior, we are using dissolved acetylene in a B tank, which is more of an industrial setup that you may find. Some people might be using small propane or MAP gas for their soldering. Just gives us a little more heat, a little more consistency. So to turn this gas on, we have a wrench, which we can place on top of the B tank itself. And we're going to rotate this gas on. We're going counterclockwise if I'm looking on top of it. You should notice that my regulator has moved to a 3/4, almost full position, signifying that there is gas. And if I turn this valve, we now hear the flow of acetylene. So we do have to understand that when I turn this on, there is flammable gas flowing. So we don't want to leave that on. So at this point, we're ready to make our actual solder joint. So I'm going to make sure all my PPE is in place at this point. Area is clear. There's no flammables on the ground. My fire extinguisher is ready. So the first thing I need to do is apply a liberal amount of flux to the joint. So we're going to make sure that we are applying this flux. It doesn't need to go in the pipe, right? We're just trying to get it around the joint, both on the male pipe and female fitting. We'll apply that flux. The flux is going to work to draw the solder in through capillary attraction, and we can place that back on. At that point, I can strike my torch and get my flame going. You're going to notice that I'm going to be heating the fitting itself. I don't want to heat where I'm soldering. I want to heat behind and let the heat draw the solder through capillary attraction, right? So, get my solder prepared. In preparing my solder, I like to unravel some and put a sharp 90 on it. The sharp 90 is what I'm going to be using to go and actually run around that joint. Don't need much more than that. Go ahead and turn my gas on and strike my torch. If you need to make any adjustments on the torch flow, you could through the regulator. In this case, I have a good flow here. I'll start applying my heat to the bottom. It doesn't take a lot with this torch. So we're applying the heat, doing a little test with the solder. Once the solder starts flowing, we know we're warm enough. Gonna run around. You notice I'm not applying any heat. And I'm simply making sure that the solder flows around the joint. I have a wet rag. Be careful, this pipe is extremely hot. We're setting this joint. And I'm rubbing this as well to remove any flux that was left behind from the soldering operation. You will notice that I did drop some solder on the floor, and it's important to make sure that we do not have flammables around us for that reason. Be careful, this will remain hot for some time, so I'm just leaving my wet rag on that as it cools. In the event that I had to make a close solder joint, so let's say that I'm soldering pretty close to another joint, and I'm applying heat right here. A lot of people might wrap a wet rag around this joint to keep the heat localized. Otherwise, what can happen sometimes is we apply the heat here, the heat can travel and actually loosen and weaken this joint where this joint could want to pop off. So if you're ever in a situation where you're soldering close joints like this, you could make sure you had a wet rag wrapped around the area that you do not want to be affected by the heat. Just obviously make sure the torch does not come in contact with this rag. Although it's wet, it still can catch fire. At this point, we can inspect our work that we just did. So we're actually inspecting the joint. The joint has had time to cool. If it is in a tight location, you might need a mirror or something to get around. Because we're bench soldering, I can actually look closely at the joint itself. A couple things you're looking for are little pinholes, any spots that the solder would not have been pulled into place. In this case, this joint looks thorough. I'm fully around the joint and there aren't any pinholes that I can see. Once you've completed soldering for the day, it's important that we shut our B tank off and that we also purge the line from all of the flammable gas. So the first thing you're going to do is the opposite of what we did to turn this on. So I'm going to take my wrench and turn this tank in the clockwise fashion until that tank is off. At that point, we are going to purge the remaining gas. So as you can see, although this tank is off, there was still flammable gas left in the line. We do not want to leave this line sitting with flammable gas in it in case it gets a rupture or something like that. So it's always best practice to purge that line of the flammable gas. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Hopefully we picked up some tips and tricks that will help you in the process of soldering. Best of luck, and always remember to be safe in the practice. Follow the PPE, follow the safety guidelines. Have a great day.